Right, I would like to introduce you to some what we call nailers, Paslode impulse nailers. One is a nailer punching in a nail up to 90mm, and one is known as a tacker. Just before I show you the tools, I'd just like to demonstrate that with all portable power tools, you need some form of training. And there you have evidence of training with an impulse Paslode nailer. The first one I'm going to show you is the nail itself. It's the 350 IM model, and we'll put in up to a 90mm nail. It's very much like a car engine. It has a piston, it has to have some sort of fuel, and it has to have ignition. So we have a battery to put into it, for the ignition, and we're looking at a green flashing light there to show us that battery is live and working, okay, and it will be eventually ready to fire the nail into the wood. We then load it with nails. These are Paslode 90mm plain nails, and they will be loaded in to the impulse nailer. Let's just pop the handle, let them drop in, press the button, allowing a spring to force the nails up to the end of the Paslode nailer. And finally, fuel. Both the tacker and the nailer will take the same type of battery, but the gas cylinder, the tacker takes a lot smaller one than the nailer. Along with that, we have a different colour-coded nozzle as well. The nailer will take a pink or reddish colour nozzle, and the tackers take a yellow one. Now, we do have to ensure they do not leak a safety mode when these nozzles go on the gas cylinder. At the moment that's in safe, so that it does not leak and can be stored like so. But to operate the impulse nailer, we need to ensure that that nozzle there is fully pressed into the gas cylinder. And we can then load it into the gun. Make sure the gas nozzle is located correctly and close the cover. We have a green flashing light and we are ready to fire the nail into wood. At the moment, it is considered safe in that we need to depress this end before we can actually operate the tool. This does not mean to say that it is in good practice not to point this at anybody. You know it's safe, but anybody that you may be pointing it to or at may not think it's safe. So you always operate and carry these things facing downwards and not pointing at anybody. I'll demonstrate of this gun. We will need safety glasses, impact glasses. Well supported material, and ensure that my hand or any part of my body is not directly behind it when firing. Not only that, you've got to be conscious of everybody around you. You have to ensure that you're not going to fire over any previous nails that may have been put in, any hard knots that may create a ricochet, and that you're cleanly going to fire into the wood. Like so. I put one on purpose, missed the timber on purpose, just to demonstrate why you should keep your hand well clear when operating these tools. Clearly you can see that coming right the way through, and if you happen to be holding your hand underneath, you know what's going to happen. Okay? You may occasionally, as I mentioned, get a ricochet. Be very conscious of where you're putting the nail. Okay, and the guideline for that is this part here. So if I just take the battery out, ensure it will not fire, we can line up our nail to the centre of that part there and to the side there. Right, the nail is not coming out there, but in the centre of that orange guard. Likewise, the tacker, we can move on to the tacker. We have a battery loaded in exactly the same way. And we have the green flashing light. We're using a lot smaller fixings. We have some 50mm there, or some 25mm there. And the magazine is at right angles to the gun, whereas the tacker was angled, as you can see there. In this case, for the tacker, we open up the magazine, if you like, there with that lever, back the spring. Drop them in, release the spring takes the nails up to the end, ready for firing. And finally, last thing, the gas cylinder, as I mentioned before, a lot smaller. We have a nozzle, a yellow nozzle fitted to the gas cylinder, making sure it's fully homed, loaded into the gun correctly, locating the nozzle and closing it up. And there we have it, 2 Paslode impulse nailers, one a tacker and one a nailer.
How about depth, Roger? The amount that the nail goes in, can that be adjusted?
just ensure that the Paslode is safe, and if we look very closely here, we can turn a thumb screw there, and that will actually adjust this head up and down. That will adjust the depth that the nail is fired into the wood. Okay? If you're using this on a piece of hardwood and your nail's not going home, then you probably need to readjust it to ensure that your nail is at least just below the surface, nice and clear, so whatever you're doing with a piece of wood could be invariably decorated and finished and not show the fiction. Likewise, if you're using very light material, very thin material, you don't want that nail to be punched right the way through it, so you reverse the adjustment the other way. The nailer, the battery is out, so it is safe to use. It's a little bit more complex, not quite so easy, but we need to adjust this front nozzle on here, this guard here. And by adjusting that to the gradients indicated there, we'll then adjust the depth of nail in the wood. The one thing you've got to be cautious of if you are using these is taking note of the models that you're using. If you're buying nails, Paslode makes several models, and you can see a difference in those nails. Somebody bought those expecting them to fit in this tacker, and because the magazine that holds the nails is at right angles in the gun, they need to be an upright nail as such, whereas these are for a different model. The magazine would be sloping, as you can see there. So it's a very easy mistake. So you have to be familiar with your tool, know its model number if you're buying additional fixings for these tools. As with all portable power tools, they should be inspected by a competent person and should be in good working order. Right, just to remind you some of the very basic checks: that the casing is in good order, no cracks, no splits, all the fixings are in place, and as I said, everything works correctly.